Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Nintendo Switch, 3DS, Game Boy, and more. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Yuzu, and we talked about a massive update to Yuzu yesterday, and today's another big update. So at the time of filming, mainline version 14.19 is the latest update, and they've added an option to turn on or off asynchronous presentation. They say here, turning the async presentation on or off may improve or decrease performance and frame time depending on the game. Users can now test games and decide whether the option should be enabled or disabled on a case-by-case basis. And fortunately, this option is pretty easy to find. It's right in your graphics settings. They've also optimized normal accuracy performance by a whopping 50% on games such as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and more. So we had performance updates yesterday, and we've got more performance updates today. And on top of that, because yes, there's even more, they fixed Splatoon 2's ink gimmick that wasn't working correctly using high accuracy settings with AMD GPUs. And just like yesterday, another hat tip to the Yuzu development team for working pretty hard and making these awesome updates. And speaking about working hard and updates, next up we're talking about 3DS emulation on PC and Android with Citra, and Citra just got a brand new update. Now it is worth pointing out that this is for the Canary version of Citra, which is a little bit more experimental than the nightly build. At the time of filming here, 2473 is the latest version, and this one improves performance and frame times across a large number of games. They say here it should be the last big graphics backend before they start adding Vulkan code. And once they start adding Vulkan code, performance may increase significantly, compatibility may increase significantly. And there's a special Android build here too. It says this will speed up how long it takes for the games list to load on Citra Android. To pick up the latest and greatest version of Citra, head to citra-emu.org and click on download, or click on download here, whatever floats your boat. And from this screen, click on manual download and scroll down to where you see nightly and Canary builds. These are far more updated than the standard Google Play Store build. You can see that was 2 years ago. So we're talking about Canary in this one. You can pick it up for your platform of choice. If you want something a little less experimental, you can pick up the latest nightly build for your platform of choice. And speaking about platforms, this one is a little bit of an oddball. We're talking about Game Boy emulation on Palm OS. Yes, Palm has a Game Boy emulator, and it just got a brand new release. Anyways, here this one requires at least Palm OS 5.0. A color screen, an SD card slot, and physical buttons that work. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the GitHub in the description below. It's free and open source. And version 1.1 is the latest update. Unfortunately, I cannot test this one out. I don't have a Palm device. If you do, and if you've tried this out, let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious about it. And speaking about curious, next up we're talking about the ASUS ROG Ally, and it appears that we've got some more pricing leaks. This time for Europe, specifically Germany, and I don't know if it's going to vary based on location. Anyways, here the Z1 Extreme, so the high performance version of the ROG Ally, is going to be priced at about €799. And it will be released first, so the cheaper version is apparently going to be released later. And interestingly enough here, apparently the more expensive version is also releasing in the States first, followed by the cheaper version. Over in Europe, it's about €150 more than the most expensive Steam Deck. At that price, I'm very curious to see what the standard version of the ROG Ally is going to be in comparison with the Steam Deck. Now, just a few days ago, I ran a poll on the community tab on my YouTube page, and I asked people what they'd prefer to buy, the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. And the Steam Deck here was the overwhelming winner by a very wide margin. However, with this pricing info that may or may not be correct, I'm wondering if people will be swayed to go to the ROG Ally. It's not that much more money. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Moving on, and we're talking about EasyRPG Player, which is still alive. It just got its first release after 18 months, version 0.8 Paralyze. For those who may not be aware, EasyRPG Player lets you play games from RPG Maker. So version 0.8 brings about a whole bunch of bug fixes, improvements, and optimizations, and there is some bittersweet news here. After 12 years, one of their core developers, Gabri, is taking a break from developing EasyRPG Player, but they are moving to EasyRPG Editor. Unfortunately here, they're not expecting any major updates to EasyRPG Player in the next few years. Fortunately though, this was a pretty big release with a lot to explore. We've got new audio settings, video settings, including new scaling options, nearest, integer, and bilinear. There's now support for custom resolutions, and EasyRPG Player just got a brand new startup logo. And speaking about new features, next up we're talking about PlayStation 2 emulation with PCSX2, and PCSX2 just got a brand new feature. The developers have been busy as per usual. And if we take a look here, they've added an exclusive full screen control option. They state here that now PCSX2 gives you the option to specifically allow or disallow exclusive full screen on supported drivers. And it all came about because they were annoyed that they weren't able to see the volume overlay or the dropped frames when toggling fast forward with VSync on with driver controlled exclusive full screen. And for those curious, at the time of filming here, the latest and greatest version of PCSX2 is version 1.7.4460. Next up, we're quickly talking about Pokemon Go, which seems to be on a bit of a downward spiral these last few months. A lot of people are attributing it to the fact that they've changed the remote raid passes. They went from earning $57.9 million in February to $42.8 million in March, down to still a lot here, but down to $34.7 million in April. If you are curious and wanted to learn more, I'll drop a link to the article in the description below and feel free to check it out. I have a hunch here that Pokemon Go might have some events coming up soon to try to draw people back to the game and make some more money. And I'm also curious here as to the earnings. Did it drop because of the remote raid passes? Or did it drop because people are just sick and tired of the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.